We're going to create a thunderstorm inside my mourning gecko colony to try and spur on breeding, to get them breeding once again. So a few people have asked, my mourning geckos, they're a year old, they're 2-year-olds, they just haven't bred yet. Well, let me quickly explain the thunderstorm theory. In the wild, they would normally spur on breeding when there's been a thunderstorm, when you've got the different air pressure in there, when you've got the lighting rig in there, and just everything. When a thunderstorm happens, the whole dynamic of a thunderstorm, with how powerful it is, how emotional it is, everything. Emotional? A thunderstorm? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. That normally starts them breeding. You can normally start hearing them chirp afterwards. Now, we're going to need a few products to help build a thunderstorm in here. And, I mean, it's daylight outside, so it's not going to have the amazingly desired effect that I want to show you guys. However, this is how we're going to do it. We need a few products. We've got a misting system. That's the Swell Reptile misting system. We have got the Pro 10 LED light. The joy with the Pro 10 LED light, we can either have it on normal light or blue light or off altogether. Obviously that light you can see there's the heat bulb, that's actually on at the moment, but we'll turn the lights back on. Boof. So we need that. We also need a rain system. Boof. The Swell Reptile rain system. Now it's quite important that you do have this on the front of it. This is just a dial to go from minimum pressure to maximum pressure. Once we have that, we can start coming up with a dynamic. So we need to understand a thunderstorm. We've already spoke why the benefits are. It's just going to help spur them on with the breeding, because that's what naturally happens in their habitat. First of all, when there's going to be a thunderstorm, it gets really dark, so we'll turn the lights down to the blue setting. Then the pressure starts to come in at the same time, so you start getting a really thick air. Just you can feel when a thunderstorm's coming on. That's when the misting system comes on. It will fog the whole enclosure up really thickly. Then we're going to turn up the misting system to get it that extra fogged up in there. Then we're going to whack the rain system on. We're going to put the rain system on at a sort of minimum setting just to make it so it's just about to start to rain. Then we're going to slowly ramp up the misting system, really get it pumping in there. Then we're going to start flicking around with the lights. We're going to go from blue on, off, all the lights on, all the lights off, just the blue on, and just keep flicking it, just like the thunder cracks would naturally be. There is a place up north in Grimsby that do something similar to this. This is just my rendition of it. Once it's done, it's that after effect that gets them to start breeding. So the humidity, the air pressure releases, it gets really humid. It's just everything after a thunderstorm spurs these on to breeding. So let's go through right now and quickly do it. We're going to do it in real time. So it may take a couple of minutes to go through this process. It may take 5 minutes. Either way, I'd really appreciate it if you did stay to the end just to watch everything. And we're going to try and catch some breeding in the act at the end. Like we said, there's the Pro 10 LED light. That's the one from Reptile Systems, and it's just absolutely amazing. There is the trigger switch for it. So we'll turn, it's all on at the moment. You can see it's all on. If we flick that one, it goes to just blue. If we flick the bottom one, boof, it goes off altogether. So we can just have a good old play around with all the different lights, and yeah, we're just gonna have a bit of fun. Right, that's all of it on now. That's the on-off switch for the misting system. Behind the misting system, we've got the dial there. It's currently set to minimum, and the rain system is currently set to minimum. Let's go. Now we start by adding in the fog. You can see it's starting to come down now. That's just going to fill up the whole enclosure from the bottomwards onwards. There we go. Starting to fill up. This is just going to create that higher air pressure that they'd naturally see in the wild. We're going to let it fill up for a good few minutes, really get it nice and thick and creamed out in there. I'm big against blocking off the top. I don't like blocking off the top. I like the air circulation, hence why we've always got these open down here. We're slowly filling up nicely. So we're going to ramp it up now, make it come out a little bit heavier. You can see I've got it coming out that back corner, just over there. Now in this enclosure we have got a big pipe built into the background. You can probably see it just there, and normally the mist system goes into there and comes out the bottom. We've just left it like this. I don't know why we're not utilising it, but we've just left it. You can see how it's starting to really thicken up now. It's really starting to work out nicely. It's building up really, really thickly. Now again, this is ramped up already to the highest setting going. We have still got the heat on, you can see the heat's on. Now we're going to dim the lights down to the blue setting. So it just dulls it off a little bit. That's just like the big thick cloud cover coming in and basically covering the land, getting rid of the sunlight, adding in the fog. It's just, now it's starting to get there. You can see how it's just really thickly layered. We're just going to leave that now to sort of settle in. It's going to fill up loads more. It's just going to, oh, it's going to look amazing when it's done. I can't wait to do this. This is my first ever attempt at doing this, so it may not go very well. And like I say, it is still daylight outside, so this is definitely would have a better effect through the night time when it is a little bit darker. See, that's set onto maximum. We've got the Pro 10, Reptile Systems Pro 10 LED light. All these products will be linked down in the description down below. That's the misting system down there. There's the bucket of water that supplies it. It goes in that back corner there. The pipe comes around and there's the nozzle. Now with this misting system, the rain system, you can actually get extra attachments that come with it. I think I've actually got one. There they are. All the different extra attachments. You've got drip systems, you've got bulkheads, everything. And oh, there you go. See how it's filled right to the top? Now again, we're going to leave it for that little bit longer just to really thicken it up in there. Get the animals, if the animals are asleep, they'll wake up to the pressure change and they'll go, oh, what's happening here? And then we're just going to keep leaving it like this. Now I'm going to put you back on the stand. Line you up just like that. And I'm going to widen the angle lens just so you're going to get a cracking view of basically the misting system, because what you can see in the top there, that metal, the plastic nozzle, this one just here, there, that's the misting nozzle, so you'll be able to see that in work. Now when that does come out, it comes out with quite a bit of pressure, so that it does stir up all the mist that's in there, like would naturally happen within a jungle. So this is going to be quite amusing. I can't wait to do this. But you want to mind the noise that's going to be coming from the misting system, because it is quite noisy. But there we go. See how it's really, really thickened up in there now. You can hardly see in there. That's amazing. Now again, you can leave it like this, doing this sort of thing for as long as you want, really, because the animals can take it. But we're just speeding it up for the process of this video. We'll give it another 30 seconds. Then we'll start adding in the mist system. Once the mist system's on low, we're then going to ramp it up to maximum, and that's when the thunder strikes are going to start happening. The thing we need to consider with this is it automatically finishes all at the same time. So by the time we've got the misting system comes off, the fog system comes off, the lights go back on, and that's just like the end of the thunderstorm. That's the appeal that we want to basically replicate here. Again, keeping reptiles, if you can get the naturalistic setup exactly to what their natural habitat is, the animals are only going to benefit. Right, here we go then. Now, I'm probably going to go quiet while I do work with this misting system now. This is only going to take a minute or so for this next piece, but here we go. Wait for the noise. See how it's all blowing it around everywhere? That's set on the lowest setting. Just keep it going. Now we've got the fog system up to maximum to try and replace all of that fog that is being blown away there. Then we're going to turn off all the lights altogether. I'm going to ramp up the misting system. Then we start the thunder strikes. Slow the rain down. Off goes the rain. Slow the fog system all the way down so it doesn't come in too much. Turn the blue lights back on. Slow the misting system right the way off. turn the fog system off. Give it a second to cool down, or make it nice and good. Turn the main lights back on. Both. And there we go. We have got now an extremely high misted off environment in there. You can see it's all over the glass. Let me just get you off the stand. It's all on the glass and everything. They have had a really good mist. They have had a thunderstorm aspect within there. So now it's just a case, still got the heat. It's still very humid. We have to wait for all the humid air. See how it's still fogged up down here? That's all going to release out of there through the ventilation here and the ventilation on the top. That's the joy with the Exoterras. Once that pressure difference compared to what it has just been has totally vanished, then they're going to start chirping away. So join me back then and we'll have a look at it. The aftermath is absolutely amazing. Everything's soaking wet. It's just doing absolutely amazing right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on stuff like this, really stepping outside the boundary to try and replicate the natural habitat of the animals, both on a weather, lighting, heating, UV level, absolutely everything, to replicate their natural behaviours. I love it. I love all this sort of stuff. But it doesn't just work for mourning geckos. You can do this for dart frogs, you can do this for chameleons, anything that's sort of in a tropical environment where they do have a rainy season, they do have tropical thunderstorms, natural disasters, Mother Nature aspects to these animals. But that's another reason why the animals live longer in captivity, because they're not left out to those elements. I mean, like bearded dragons in captivity have not been left out to the Australian forest fires and so on and so on. So that's why they do live longer in captivity. Their bodies just don't have to tolerate the natural habitat. I'd love to hear your thoughts on stuff like this.